Hey, good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Rookie Pacific Northwest Wine Enthusiast channel, YouTube's primary channel and only channel that I know of that really only focuses on Northwest wines. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. There is a winery I've been looking forward to visiting up in Kirkland, Washington called Upchurch. Now, what I did not realize is that they have a second label per se. Today, of course, I was in Costco, and one of the things that I'm always looking for are expressive wines that can be easily accessible. And as I've mentioned before, Red Mountain AVA is probably the most expensive piece of winery land in the state of Washington. And when I saw that Costco had a Cabernet Sauvignon 2018 from a company, a brand called LtL, I was like, okay, and it was $22. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. Now, as some of you know, I drive truck, and to me, LtL, and I work for an LtL freight company, stands for less than truckload. This LtL stands for larger than life. So now, I'm looking at the website here. Upchurch Vineyard has been around since they planted their vineyard in 2007. They had our 10th vintage in the fall of 2021. So they are a relatively new vineyard operation here in Washington State. So now, what am I looking for with regards to a Cabernet Sauvignon, especially coming off of Red Mountain? I expect a wine to be very bold, very expressive, very fruity. And what I'm not really looking at, especially on this, now I did take a look on their website. I couldn't tell how long this wine has been aged in oak. I can't tell you if it was French, if it was American, if it was neutral oak, what kind of oak that they used. But I can tell you that I did, when I was pouring this, there is some intensity here. So let's go ahead, take a look at the color. Now, the other thing on this color is this is probably the deepest purple wine I have seen all year long. I mean, there's no light whatsoever coming through this. I can't tell, I'm assuming this is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. There's nothing I can find on the website that says otherwise. And looking at their website, it looks like that they do a lot of 100% Cab Sauv for Upchurch. So I'm assuming that some of that is carried over. Now, on the nose of this, I am getting, like I said, it's relatively good intensity on this. There's some boysenberry, some red currant, red cherry. I'm getting a little bit of a star anise note, almost like a light hint of licorice. There's some baking spices, just a real small hint. And then there's a note that is really catching me off guard. The best I can describe it is like a menthol note. Let's go ahead and take a sip, shall we? Okay, this is bordering on bold. This is a medium plus bodied wine. This is medium plus on the tannins. The tannins are a bit aggressive. There's a slight twinge of acidity. I would say it's more along the lines of a medium acidity. The alcohol on this is 14.2%. Don't even taste it. And as for sweetness, I would consider this a dry to off-dry wine. There's a slight hint of sweetness, but there's not a whole lot of it. On the palate, that boysenberry is there, but it's much more red fruit on the palate than what I got on the nose. I'm talking that red currant, that red cherry. There is a peppercorn, almost a green peppercorn spiciness on the palate, and it's really hitting me along the sides of my tongue. I'm not getting as much of the baking spices, and the menthol note has really kind of stepped back. Let's go ahead and have another sip of this. There is a herbal note as well that comes across on the palate, almost like an oregano, maybe a little sage. But what's really catching me off guard, there's just an earthy note there, and it's almost like pencil lead or graphite, and there's a slight hint of, just a really slight hint of cacao or a really dark bitter chocolate. Maybe that's what I'm getting, is that bitterness on the palate a little bit. It's not offensive. I'm thinking that's maybe more comes across as a bitter dark chocolate. So anyways, I like this wine. I did pour a glass previous to this to give it to my wife. She likes it. My wife tends to like a little bit more fruity and more expressive cabs, but I think she's got coming around a little bit on the tannins. I thought she would not like this, but she actually does. One thing what I'm thinking about, the only downside I think to this wine is when I think of, again, that Red Mountain cab type of, I'm thinking that I want a nice longer finish. I'm getting all these, small flavored notes, but on the finish, this is more of a medium to medium minus on the finish. It doesn't last a whole very long. I'd love it to last a little bit longer. Now, what I do think that a really big positive to this wine is with all those tannins, with that acidity in there, I think this will bottle age really well, and it'll probably help round out a little bit the aggressive tannins that you initially get when you take your first sip. I mean, it is a drying effect, and it just goes like that. It locks your mouth right down. So other than that, will I buy this one again? You bet. Like I said, I am thinking I'm going to go back to Costco this week, pick up 2 or 3 bottles. I'm going to put them in my wine cellar, because I think this wine has really good 3 to 6 to 7 year potential on this one. So looking forward to seeing it. And this is the type of wine that makes me want to drive into King County and go up to Kirkland to their tasting room. So anyways, folks, let me know if you had Upchurch Vineyard's LtL brand Cabernet Sauvignon. Let me know down in the comments down below. If you like this content, please go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell icon and make sure you're notified. That way, when I do upload this type of content, that you are notified. So anyways, let me know down in the comments down below if you've had this. Looking forward to next year. In a couple weeks is Christmas, and I am going to be preparing for my wine of the year. So anyways, folks, as always, life is too short for bad wine. This is a pretty good wine, I think, for $22. And the website, by the way, I think they sell this for $30 at Upchurch. Go ahead and get yourself a bottle. If you can't find it at Costco, it's good wine, folks. Cheers. Yeah, that is aggressive though.